How to Max Your Mastery and Profits with Tracy D. Malone. My purpose today is simple. By the end of this interactive workshop, you'll gain clarity on how to max your mastery so you can work less, get paid more. Here's my promise to you. If you go all in over the next 20 minutes or so, you'll experience a mindset shift that will forever transform the way you look at your mastery and your business. Over the next 20 minutes, you'll learn exactly what's in your way of your mastery and your profits. I'll check in with you 3 times to make sure you're okay. But I need your help. This isn't a magic trick or get rich quick scheme. If you don't put in the work, it won't work. So I highly suggest you put away your phone and give this moment the dedicated attention it truly deserves. Grab a pen and paper and let's get started with your first step. Write down one thing you expect to get from our time together. Spell it out and make it plain. Step 2, write down your level of clarity on your business right now from 0 to 10. I'll start by sharing a little bit about my story. More than 20 years ago, I single-handedly solved a $370 million problem for L'Oreal Soft Sheen that eluded the brightest minds at IBM. Prior to that, I was a software instructor teaching adults the entire Microsoft suite of products. A little bit later, I'll share why this is significant to our discussion. Before we get started, I'd like to share one of my beliefs. I believe each of us has a genius, and your genius is your unique glow. GLOW is the acronym for Genius is the love you have to offer the world. Your genius is the set of unique gifts, talents, and abilities that you possess from the moment you're born into this world. When you put those gifts, talents, and abilities into action to serve others, it becomes an expression of love because love is expressed through action. This service that you offer to others and this packaging is your offer to the world. The world around you is your sphere of influence and your community. Remember that you're in complete control of it. This concept of each of us having a unique glow forms the foundation for my offer. Now that you know a little bit about me and what I believe, let's talk about you. Exactly what's in your way of maxing your mastery so you can work less and get paid more? What's the one problem in your business that, if solved, would empower you to dominate and have the business and life you've always dreamed of but never knew how? Write it all down, big or small. If you need more time, just press pause. Of course, I can't see what you wrote, but let's talk about it anyway. Here's one thing I know for sure. There's only 3 things that could be in your way. Either yourself, a change you need to make, or both. Oftentimes, the biggest thing that's in our way is internal and not external. Realizing this is a major step towards your success because when we take full responsibility for our actions or lack thereof, we are free to move forward powerfully. Here's a bold statement. Change creates possibilities, and possibilities lead to opportunities. Write that down. Now, I want you to use your imagination. Write down what your life and business would look like if this problem was already solved. What time would you wake up? Where would you live? What car would you drive? How much money would be in your bank account? Describe your life in as much detail as possible. Now, here's some good news. What you wrote down is waiting for you. That's what's available to you when you're courageous enough to change. If you need more time to write, go ahead and press pause. On the other hand, if you don't change, here's what's at risk. Loss of profits, business failure, loss of confidence, untapped potential, loss of opportunities, and more. Can you really afford to risk all of this? If your comfort zone just got uncomfortable, view it as a signal that it's time for you to change. Here's another thing I've learned over my life: change is greater than progress. Write that down. Well, it's time for us to do our first check in. Have you experienced a mindset shift yet? Are you gaining more clarity in your business so you can max your mastery and profits? Change creates possibilities and opportunities. Write that down. What's possible if you decide to change? You can have everything you just wrote down, plus, you can have more of the life and business you dream about and less stress and anxiety. You have the ability for meaningful work, relationships, and so much more. You have more self confidence and the power to attract more ideal clients. You can enjoy more time freedom and more money. You have the power to change your world, and I can prove it with one of my favorite quotes. One's mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original dimension. Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. I went through tough times as a teenager, and once I grabbed hold of this quote, my entire world changed. I finally realized that if I didn't like the life I was living, I had the power to change it. It was the first time I realized that change starts in my mind. I realized just having a new perspective could empower me to have a different life. But little did I know, more than 30 years later, science would back up Mr. Holmes' statement. Scientists have discovered every new piece of information our brain processes to create a new pathway in our brain. It's like adding an extra lane to a highway or a street. This increases our capabilities. Once our brain processes this information and adds it to our brain, we can't take it back out. Here are two more facts. You don't know what you don't know. Also, once you know something, you cannot unknow it. Write that down. Accepting these facts changed my life. But sometimes the pain of change is greater than the pain of staying the same. This is often referred to as self sabotage. I define self sabotage as unwillingness to change or seek help. When we're in self sabotage mode, our behaviors promote our future failures. Are you ready to break free? How can you break the cycle of self sabotaging behavior and move forward powerfully? Consider this: progress does not equal results, change equals results. Write that down. Congratulations, you've just made it to check in number 2. How are you feeling? Are you experiencing any breakthroughs or discomfort over your present situation? Do you sense your clarity level is increasing? Embrace change. Accept the fact that failure is necessary for success and that we often avoid change as a result of fear. When we don't accept change or accept help or failure, it weakens our ability to prevent future failures. Here's a bold new way to look at failure. Failure and success are two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. When you view every failure as an experiment, it has the potential to change your life. What's causing your fear? Write down everything that causes you to experience fear in any area of your business or life. Remember this: if you want to succeed, you must face your fears, and now is a good time to do it. As you continue to write, I like to share my story on fear. I mentioned earlier that I was a software instructor prior to being hired by L'Oreal. Here's the backstory on how I got there. I was working a temp job downtown in the Windy City. One day, a coworker told me she was leaving the assignment and going to a new career. She said I should try it too. She believed in me more than I believed in myself at that time. My new position almost didn't happen due to my fear of public speaking. When I realized my fear was in the way of me enjoying the life I dreamed of, the pain of staying the same outweighed the pain of change. I finally took her up on it and bet on myself. I used her faith in me to take myself to the next level. After that, my income shot up overnight. I got an American Express expense account and I started doing work that paid me a lot, and it was super easy to me. Little did I know that was the beginning of work less, get paid more. But there's more we can glean from this. I believe our fears are like an iceberg. The fears we easily identify with represent the tip of the iceberg, but that's only 10% of our problem. Not only was I afraid of public speaking, I was also afraid of the unknown and so much more. The unknown represents the 90% that's hidden below the surface. This 90% has to do with the story we've been telling ourselves year after year and decade after decade. The experts say our stories can usually be traced back to our childhood. These stories run deep because they're happening on a subconscious level. And the only way to bring them out is through having courage. But that's not all. When it comes to choices around our personal or professional decisions, our fear of the unknown has to do with things like the cost. Can I really commit? The payoff feels uncertain. Is it really worth it? We're concerned about unknown risk. Will it work for me? We're afraid of being judged. We have doubts about the outcome. We don't trust ourselves to make the right decisions. Is the outcome really doable? We don't think it'll work for us. And on and on and on. These stories and self doubts cause us to get stuck in our heads instead of in our hearts. This subconscious conversation causes us to overthink things long enough to talk ourselves out of taking action. What uncertainties do you have around the decisions you're facing? Write down whatever comes to mind. Press pause if you need extra time. This is our final check in. How much clarity have you gained so far on a scale of 0 to 10? Remember, we've only reached the tip of the iceberg. 90% of your problem is still below the surface, and we can't possibly uncover it all today. There are issues like the right audience, offer, price, implementation, packaging, frequency, strategy, execution, mindset, messaging, level of mastery, accountability, and so much more. Would you like it if I can help you with all of this, or do you prefer to DIY? If you DIY, you'll surf or scroll your day away online in hopes of finding the right information. But this path involves hard work and lots of sacrifice. And you'll end up trading your precious time for information, plus, there's no guarantee you'll succeed. Or you can choose to follow in the path of the top 10%. They invest in themselves and their business by seeking help to maximize their results. They bet on themselves and take calculated risk. They know their chances of success are better with the right guide by their side. Allow me to be the guide by your side using my proven framework to help you work less, get paid more. My solution has been honed over 20 years, plus is tested. Not only does it get results, it's also guaranteed. I've been in your shoes, and that's why I designed a custom solution to help you succeed. If you're finally ready to have a business that empowers you to match your mastery and avoid overwork and burnout, apply to work with me now. It's time to end the guesswork and implement a system that works for you instead of against you. I'm ready to be the guide by your side so you can work less, get paid more. Apply now because I only have 3 spots open for people who want my help.